This is blog 6, and I have to apologize because I said that I would try to put one blog out every week, and I know some of you on the edges of your seat, at least my ego wants me to think, some of you really wanted to see those blogs, and what did I do? Instead, I put out a kind of a test video where I was testing a camera. Have to explain. And in fact, apologize because I was high when I did that. Whoa, wait a minute, let me explain. I had a bone marrow test that day, and it was a little discerning to me because the results of the test would let me know whether I had reached the end of my life and it was all downhill, the top of the roller coaster, and it was going straight down. And they'd filled me full of morphine because this is not a simple test, and you know that when the doctor says this is going to hurt a lot, that's a sign that it's probably going to hurt a lot. It really wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it wasn't just that test. It was what the results of that test were going to be. Well, today we found out that it's not leukemia, and it's still not real good. There's still some more tests, but unless a bolide hits, it hits me on the head and I'm wiped out into a big pile of red on the floor, I'm going to be around a little while, so I'm feeling a little better about that. But hopefully that will gain me some subscribers, because I could be a dying man, maybe, but I'm not. I did that video, though, testing the camera. When they brought me home, they let me loose. And for some reason, while I was high on the morphine, I decided I should do a test of the video camera. And then I couldn't figure out how to send it to my friends, and I put it up there. And not a lot of people watched it, but it did get a lot of stars. I think that's both scary and good at the same time, because there was no preparation. I can't even remember doing it, but I did find it and put it up so everyone could see how it looked, the new camera, how it sounded, and that widescreen thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to do a video today and talk a little bit about broadcasting, talk a little bit about some things that listeners question me on, or viewers, or whatever we are here on YouTube. I guess we're both listeners and viewers. There was concern about videos that I had posted. One video that concerned people was on that Trade Center Tower number 7. And I found a video by a young man that I thought really was something we should look into. And I hope, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave it up. It is on my channel page. And look at that. Be objective. Use your brain, your head, and ask yourself the question, how could that have done that? It's amazing to believe that the 2 trade towers that were hit by airplanes fell perfect. I mean, a demolition team could not have done a better job, including even those little spit things that shot out the side. It is questionable both on Towers 1 and 2. But Tower 7 was not hit by an airplane. It was not as big. It was not as heavy. And it fell exactly the same way, straight down. Fire in itself could not have done that. There has to be an unseen hand here. It's that unseen hand that concerns me. It's an unseen hand that has touched me in my broadcast career several times. That unseen hand worries me. And then we have a video by John Lear. It's actually Art Bell, who, trust me, in all of talk radio, there is no better talk show host than Art Bell. He is the apex. He's what talk radio was and should be in the future. And Art interviewed John Lear. Now, John Lear is not a kook. He's straight as an arrow. He has no reason. He has no reason. He doesn't need money. Money's what makes us do all kinds of things. John Lear has the money. John Lear is the only man who has every endorsement that the Federal Aviation Administration can give out. And I don't know what reasons John Lear would have to lie. A lot of people have written me saying, you've lost your mind, you're going to lose your subscribers, and I have lost a few, and it bothered me. But, I'd rather have people that have inquiring minds, that don't think that everything is just black and white, I want people that can understand there might be shades of gray here. There are things in the John Lear video that I know to be true. I'm going to talk to you about Dr. Hynek. There's, in the UFO community, talk of this committee that was above Project Blue Book. I've known personally people that were involved with Project Blue Book, and I've also known and talked to, I don't say I really knew them, but I have talked to people that were involved in that committee that really was the actual group looking at UFOs. That was called that Majastic 12. I've talked to two people that were on Majastic 12. Cardinal McIntyre of Los Angeles, that's another story, and I knew Cardinal McIntyre, but not because of his involvement in UFOs. But I'll talk about that on another blog. The other one I spoke with was Dr. Hynek, and I had been a news reporter at a TV station in Eugene, Oregon, and in Roseburg, that's where I was out covering a story about UFOs. There was a 3-day period where everybody in town was seeing flying saucers. And boy, there's some stories. We'll do an entire blog on that one too. There were a lot of witnesses, and it all culminated on a place called Ruston Ridge, where a triangular-shaped object was seen on the top of this hill, and a beam of white light was circling around it. I talked to 40 people that saw this, and they saw people with flashlights walking around. It was quite a ways away, so they couldn't tell for sure. But the thing took off, came along the telephone wires, and scared the people in front of a tavern to death. All 40 of them were white as a ghost. And in covering the story, Dr. Hynek calls me on the phone. Now, I don't think Dr. Hynek understands the way this all works. He may know about UFOs, but since he had seen me on national news on NBC television, he decided I was an NBC reporter, and maybe he thought I was in the loop when I wasn't. He said, these things, and that was the key, there was something weird here, these things, you can't see even if you look directly at them. However, apparently one crashed, and since they were flying in controlled airspace, they had navigation lights so everybody could see them and not run into them. That's all it is, and nothing more. And then he paused and he said, if they're green, stay away from them. I hung up the phone, and I'm kind of sorting through what I had just heard, and the phone rings. It's the police chief of Roseburg, and he says, Jerry, did you talk to that Hynek guy? I said, yes. He said, did he tell you if they're green, stay away from them? Well, that's what Hynek had said to me at the end of the conversation. The police chief said, shit, and hung up the phone. Well, if they're green, why are we staying away from them? The other thing, and we're running out of time, I don't want these things to go over 10 minutes. In Seattle, I once saw on a police blotter a story about a young man who had been treated the same as those animals that were mutilated in the Seattle area, especially in the town of Puyallup. I wrote it down because I'm not a newsman. I'm a talk show host, but I was helping out the news department. I wrote it down in the notes, took it in, handed it to the news director, and he said, this is a major story. I said, yeah, it's very significant. He calls the police station. It's not on the blotter anymore. Gone. That's something that refers to what Lear had said in his video. And there's more. There's not enough time. Anyway, that's it for today. We'll do this again soon. Please stay with me, if you will excuse me.
And I don't give a damn about a pinball car. And up as fast as I can. 'Cause my telephone and my engineer, the only things that I understand. Oh yeah, yeah, man. I really hope you catch my show.